Apparently, we have lost yet another massive guide maker in the space. Let's see what Brax has to say.
Video like this in a row, that's crazy. You guys are about to hear something from me that I think many of you are not going to like, and I want to preface the video with this because to me this is one of those like, oh, brace for impact moments. Like, I know that there's going to be some pretty crazy response to this, but I think this is pretty big news because in today's video I'm going to be addressing quite a few things, including how I feel about the games that I've been playing, where we are, where we're going, and contracts and more. So let's talk about it. You know, a lot of really great games have released over the past year, and even beyond that. We've had so many great games released over the past few years. Things like Clair Obscur, the Oblivion Remastered, Metaphor ReFantasio, Monster Hunter Wilds, Dune Awakening. There's so many other games that have come out in that time too, and so many like fun group games, party games with friends, other single player games, and there's even more like amazing indie titles out there that are getting way less coverage. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, I haven't played any of them. Well, except for Monster Hunter Wilds, I did play that quite a bit. I enjoyed it, but I haven't played any of the new content on that. I got 1 hour into Oblivion, the remaster. I got like 45 minutes.
I think I can tell where this is going. Making guides is taking up so much time that he doesn't have time to like really enjoy these exceptional games that are coming out, or that, yeah, like Clair Obscur, right? Like I myself wanted to make like a Clair Obscur guide, or not a guide, but like a review of the game, just because I loved it so much.
Into Dune Awakening, I haven't even opened Clair Obscur, and there's so many more games than that. And I've realized over the past little bit that I just really miss playing real games. And so I begin to ask myself, why? Why am I in this position where I'm not playing these games? Why am I in this position where I feel like I can't spend the time to sit down and enjoy these games? And the answer that I came to, and the conclusion that I came to, is because right now I'm constantly chasing the schedule of whatever gacha game I am covering. The gacha games I'm playing, Wuthering Waves and Honkai Star Rail, and many other gacha games will release patches every 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the game. And with those patches come new characters, and my content's all centered around helping you guys understand those characters and build them to be very strong, so that way you guys don't get completely taken advantage of and wiped off the face of the planet whenever you try to complete something like Memory of Chaos. And I really enjoy educating. I don't know how many of you guys know this about me, but I'm actually a music educator, or I was a music educator. YouTube kind of took off for me when I was in my student teaching. So I got my degree in music education, and I used to teach kids during a student teaching section of my college career. But then after that, I was like, oh,
I remember that he did a cover of Wildfire on his channel, and then Imtash did a cover of did he do a cover of Wildfire? No, he did a cover of Robin's theme song, I believe. Oh no, it was If I Can Only Stop One Heart From Breaking. He did a cover of that. So yeah. I remember that whole like era.
Really like YouTube, and I really like teaching people through YouTube. And so I've continued to make like guide videos for you guys for a really long time. And with HSR, it's been just over 2 years, but I started in Genshin, and Genshin, you guys probably noticed, but I don't cover Genshin anymore. The reason that I don't cover Genshin anymore is because the game doesn't have anything new to offer me that makes me want to keep playing. They have a story that I think a lot of people are interested in, but for me, I can't really get behind gacha stories that are about selling the newest character. And it really feels like so many of these characters are introduced in gacha games just to be thrown away up until like a random event 3 years in the future, where they come back with a couple dialogue lines. But it feels like most of these characters aren't even really a part of the world that much, outside of serving the purpose of getting sales by being in the story and by fleshing out the characters. So like, I understand they build the world, but it also kind of plays into this whole idea that every single main character in a gacha game is just a self-insert. And when I think about games that I really loved, like The Witcher 3, for example, that's about a guy who has a ton of development throughout the entire series that makes him who he is, and it makes him such an interesting character. So much more interesting than a self-insert could ever be. So honestly, I don't really like self-inserts, and I don't really like stories that focus on side characters more than the main character. And that's not a Genshin specific problem. That's just kind of why I'm not really interested in the Genshin story that much. And that's kind of all that's left of that game, because I've already beaten Abyss. I have all the characters that I wanted, and I'm kind of explorationed out. I'm not really too interested in chasing exploration.
I feel that.
So like, I'm kind of done with it. And I fear that in Honkai Star Rail, I've kind of reached a similar point where off stream, I don't play that much outside of the CE server. Now, when the CE server comes, it takes up all of my free time, and I spend all of my time on the CE server testing out characters to bring you guys guide videos that I believe in, and that hopefully help you guys a lot. But nowadays, it is very difficult for me to even write these guides. Like, I'm really struggling to sit down, test a character a bunch, and then like just write up the video script and edit the video. And what I've kind of realized is that this isn't burnout. I mean, I've been burnt out before. I burn out over and over and over when I push content too hard, but this is just how it is. This is just gacha games. And unfortunately for me, what I fear has happened is the creator experience server coming out weeks ahead of a character's release not only takes away the hype of getting to do everything with the community when the character comes out, but it also means that I have to spend weeks ahead of the character's release prepping content, and it makes it so when the character comes out, I don't actually want to play the character. But not only that,
you've played it so much. Yeah, I participated in beta test, and I've experienced similar feelings. I can't imagine what it's like to have to make a guide as well right? That's extreme burnout. Brax, play Claire Obscure. That game will reignite your love for gaming. I swear to God, it might make gacha game stories stale for a while, like it did for me, because it's like you experience like absolute peak. But if you play Claire Obscure, oh my God, bro, it's gonna take you back like 10 years.
Themselves takes me like a week, and because there's multiple characters that release some patches, and because I'm also doing Wuthering Waves, I've realized that like I don't think I can do it anymore. I have one of the greatest jobs in the world, and I'll never take that for granted. I appreciate the hell out of you guys, and I'm so glad that I can make YouTube videos for my living. It's amazing. But I also come to realize that like any job that you really just don't like doing probably isn't worth doing unless you absolutely have to. And I know that if I put my time and efforts into either a game I'm enjoying more at a time or content that I know I'm enjoying more at the time, I'm going to make better content. And I think as long as there are people like you guys who are interested in my content, I can really find a way to make YouTube a super enjoyable and fulfilling job in basically any niche. So with that said, going forward, you guys, I'm going to be taking a temporary hiatus from Honkai Star Rail guides. And the reason is because I want to fall in love with gaming again, find my passion for gaming again, and get to play some of these amazing things that I feel like I've missed out on trying to keep up with the gacha patch cycle. I want to make better content for you guys, but I don't think I can do that anymore on Honkai Star Rail guides, at least not right now. It's possible that maybe in the future, I will enjoy Honkai Star Rail guide making again to the extent that I did when the game first released, and I'll be able to put out those guides, but right now I'm just not feeling it. The videos that I enjoyed making the most over these past few months have been the game reviews. I really enjoyed making that Duet Night Abyss video. I scripted, voiced, recorded, and played all of that Duet Night Abyss footage that you see in that entire video. It was all done by me. The Warframe video as well. I did that one entirely by myself. The Ethereal Restart video I did pass off to an editor, and they did a great job, but I think that if I edited that one, I also would have enjoyed it a little bit better as well. What I really like doing is talking about games, and a lot of the time, that means I have to play the game, or I get to play the game is an even better way to look at it. For me, I'm looking forward to so many games on the horizon. There's so many games I haven't played, and I really just want to reclaim gaming for myself because I haven't been able to do that since I've been kind of following this patch schedule. It has been quite exhausting for me. If you guys want the quality and the funny jokes and everything that are in my guide videos, I just can't do that stuff live. I can't make it easier for me to make that content. I've already optimized it all that I can, and it's just not what I want to do anymore, at least not right now. So what I'm going to be doing going forward is I'm going to be making some videos about new games that are upcoming, and then once I find a game that I really enjoy, that I really want to latch onto, that I have a super big interest in, I'll probably cover that game as well. When I was streaming talking about this yesterday at twitch.tv/Brax, I did get a question in chat, and they were asking, well, won't Hoyoverse like be upset about this? Isn't this like big for Hoyoverse? So let's talk about Hoyoverse contracts and how working with these companies has been. The first thing I need to say is that
I was like interested, like if you're in CE server, are you allowed to take a break? Like, do they kick you out of the server? Like, how does that work? So maybe he'll go into that.
The idea that I'm on some kind of contract with Hoyoverse is a huge misconception. I've never been on a long-term contract with Honkai Star Rail once, not a single time. What I do get sometimes is commission from them to make a video. And that commission, you can think of it like a sponsorship where they're like, hey, we'll pay you to make this video. But the difference with the commission is that they're not actually over my shoulder telling me what I can and can't say outside of things that are like a beta NDA, right? So like if there's a character that's not out yet, but I have access to them, I can't talk.
Also, I used to go to Brax for like the WUWA guides just because, you know, who else am I going to go to? I know he said HSR, but is he stopping with the WUWA guides as well? I wonder, because he only specified HSR, so it's interesting.
Talk about them, right, until the embargo's up. But in the case of where I say my opinion on a character, as long as it's not blatantly wrong, they don't care. Like if I came out and I said Acheron is actually a terrible unit when she released, they'd probably be like, you should reevaluate that. I think they would have even still let me release the video, to be honest, but I think they would have probably given me some feedback there, right? But there seems to be this huge misconception where everyone thinks I'm on some kind of HSR contract. I am not. All of my opinions on HSR have always been my own. I've always really loved HSR. I thought it was a super fun game, but times have changed, my feelings have changed, and that's all. And if you're dumb enough to think that I'm lying about that, if you want to keep putting on your tinfoil hat and keep shit talking me and adding me and try to rage bait me or whatever, like I don't care. I just assume everyone who's dumb is rage baiting anyways, because then it makes it easier.
It's not like when you have a thumbnail saying Acheron is insane. It's not like you're wrong. You're not wrong. Upon release, you're definitely not wrong, you know? So, I mean,
to cope with the fact that people are that stupid. Fact is, for Honkai Star Rail characters, they never paid me to say that every new character was broken or anything. It's just that they did have a blatant power creep issue with the newer units coming out, and that they all were just better than the old characters.
Literally what I just said.
There have been a lot of changes and lack of changes to Honkai Star Rail that I don't like. I think it is ridiculous that it took them this long to make a skip button for the story, but I'm glad they added it. I think that relic presets need to be a thing. There is absolutely no excuse for there not to be some. I'm pretty sure the business reason for there not being relic presets is because they want to keep up player retention, which happens when you change all of your relic sets to speed tune characters. We know know what speed tuning is now. We should be able to quick swap relic sets, but they don't want us doing that, I'm pretty sure. I would love to be proven wrong, though, if they want to introduce them. The endgame content is quite stale. There's a lack of events. I mean, there are events, but there's not as many of them as there used to be. And of course, there's the power creep problem. Like, there's a lot of issues with Honkai Star Rail. I think it's still quite an enjoyable game for like a couple hundred hours, though. And that's why I've been covering it, because I really genuinely enjoyed the game. I just got tired of making guide videos. There was never really a monetary incentive from the company for me to play Honkai Star Rail. I get paid like actual pennies from them by comparison to what other brands are paying me. They pay me like not even minimum wage. I think they pay me like a 15th of my rate that I get from other companies when I take sponsorships from them. And if I was just doing videos for Honkai Star Rail and I wasn't taking any sponsors at all, I wouldn't be able to afford the mortgage that I have or the rent that I had before. So I don't know. I wanted to clear that up. I don't think people are gonna believe me anyways, though. So I guess it is what it is, right? The amount of money that Hoyoverse is paying me is not enough to keep me making videos. The reason I made videos is because I was gonna make them anyways, and the fact they were paying me was a nice little bonus on the side. I think people need to, you know, go interact with a real human being every once in a while. Some of the stuff you see online is just insane, man. But I'll tell you who I do have a contract with. It's Kuro Games. Right now, I'm working with them to make some character guides. It's actually been a thing for a while. And you know what? I actually
answers
really
my
do
question.
like working with Kuro.
That answers my question. So he's still making guides for Kuro. Okay. This comment section is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
I think they've given me a lot of great opportunities. This whole thing about like contracts and being evil and lying to people, I don't know where it came from. I've never had a single person complain about me being on a Kuro contract, and I've talked about being on a Kuro contract, but I keep getting people complaining that I'm on a Hoyoverse contract when I'm not on a Hoyoverse contract. So I don't really know what's up with that. But anyways, I guess the reason I mentioned the Kuro thing is because I am going to continue to make Wuthering Waves guides basically until that contract's up, and then I'll decide what I want to do from there. It's not just a Honkai Star Rail issue. I actually just think I've gotten bored of making guides in general, and I would like to make some other content. I would like to talk about some other games as well. But with that said, we'll see what happens, because I have been enjoying playing Wuthering Waves quite a bit more recently. Actually, basically just since 2.0, I've been enjoying Wuthering Waves like a heck of a lot more than I enjoyed at launch. But either way, I just don't really want that to be all of my content. I really had such an awakening with the Duet Night Abyss video, the Warframe video, the Ethereal Restart video, where I'm like, I just like talking about games. I just really want to talk about them. I want to play them.
That's the one thing he's extremely passionate about, right? And you can't like fault him for that, you know? Like, I know a lot of people are probably going to be like upset he's not making HSR guides, but like he said, it's a hiatus. Maybe 4.0, his love for the game will be reignited. Who knows?
And I want to bring you guys like game news and stuff too. So that's the direction we're going. And honestly, I'm a little bummed I couldn't make this video more entertaining. I've thought about like a bunch of ways, like how do I break the news to them and make it more interesting so that way it ends on a happy note. But realistically, guys, I think it is only a happy note if you guys are here for me and not just for my HSR guide videos. So for some of us, this is going to be goodbye, and I acknowledge that and I recognize
You know what's crazy? I would totally watch a Claire Obscure Braxophone stream. I love watching people play that game. I love watching people play that game. Like, holy... That game is absolute cinema.
And I appreciate every single one of you guys who stuck with me through all of my guide videos, whether it was Genshin, whether it was HSR, whether it was Wuthering Waves. But going forward, I just really need to reclaim this for myself so that way I can be happier and make even better videos. Because at the end of the day, I want to talk about what I want to talk about, but it makes me the most happy to be able to make a really good video on it. Does that mean I'm quitting Gacha forever? No. I mean, the thing is, even though Gacha games can get stale after a while, I really am looking forward to Arknight's Enfield. That game plays differently from any of the other Gachas we have right now. And what you guys need to understand is at the end of the day, Gacha is a monetization method that affects gameplay. But if a game is just good and interesting and worth putting a couple hundred hours into, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna enjoy every second that I can get out of those games, and when I stop enjoying them, maybe it's time to play something else, you know? But I'll be covering Arknight's Enfield most likely, assuming that game didn't change drastically from the last beta. And I'm also looking forward to Blue Protocol Star Resonance, despite all of the issues that it looks like that game is going to have. Either way, if you guys are here just for HSR guides, and I'm not gonna see you anymore until I come back to HSR and doing guides, then thank you so much for everything, and I will see you guys later. But if you guys are here for this next chapter, where we switch up what we're doing a little bit, I look forward to seeing you all on the other side. If you guys have any awesome games that you think are like lesser known, more niche, or you think need the attention of a bigger YouTube channel, let me know in the comments. I really want to, I want to know what's worth my time playing. I'm going to catch up on my list that I have right now, but you know, I'd love to make a video on Wizardry Variants Daphne, or even Rememento White Shadow. So thank you guys again. I appreciate the heck out of you. I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully it'll be a lot more fun.
Damn. We just lost another guide maker. Well, HSR lost another guide maker. And then eventually, he says he's probably going to do the same thing with his Kuro Games contract and just take a break indefinitely. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. How does this news affect you if you were into Brax's like HSR guides and then potentially losing access to his Wuthering Waves guides? But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Peace.